Okay, so I've been working on seeing how much information I can pull from the AIs. But in order to pull information, I need to have a framework for my mind to be able to hold it all. So I've been asking the AI, like, what are what is the smallest number of categories that you could group all the knowledge in your database with? And first it gave me like 10 different categories. Like, that's too much. Like, pare it down even more. I can't remember that much. And it gave me then 5. And this is a sequence that I've been working with. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. The reason this sequence is important is because -1 is saying just everything we think of as negative, right? 0 is just how things are without making them better or worse. 1 is everything we find positive about life, like all the good stuff. Okay. 2 is like having a destination, is 2 points. 1 is knowing where we are. Number 2 is knowing where we want to go, right? So that's 2. 3 is the steps of actually getting from 1 to 2. Third thing is in between, so that is 3. So this has been the sequence that I've been seeing throughout everything. And I asked ChatGPT to line up these 5 categories it came up with for all human knowledge with these 5 numbers, and this is what it came up with. Okay. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. -1 would be shadow. 0 is self, all knowledge about ourselves. 1 is world. This is all worldly knowledge it has. 2 is about relationships. And 3 is about the meta process, the meta frameworks, or navigation is what it says, but I prefer meta frameworks. And it almost seems way too simple. And so I asked this, like, really? Like, are these 5 the categories that is comprehensive of every bit of knowledge in your database? And if I think about it, like I use my mind to think about it, it's like, okay, everything about the self, internal, all our shadow problems is a huge category, everything we don't want to really know, okay? All the physical sciences will fall under here, right? All the engineerings, every knowledge about the world. There's a lot of information about relationships, even just human relationships or maybe relationship between things. And then the meta framework itself, which is kind of what I'm working on. What is the structure of knowledge? What is the structure of existence that we need, right? So 0 being the state we're in, -1 is all the bad stuff. 1, I guess this deviates a little bit from this, but I can rederive this 5 numbers from this 5 numbers. I can rederive these 5 categories from these numbers, because 2 being a relationship between 2 things. 3 is kind of just the next iteration, so I kind of just remember this one because that one doesn't. It kind of fits. It's like navigation. It's like how to go from 2, right, point A, point B, and going from point A to point B is 3. And how do you do that? Well, that is the structure, the meta structure underneath. So these are the categories of all knowledge. There's a bit of I kind of have to trust the model, right? The thing that see, I'm running up against like one of my shadows is not wanting to look silly, and are these really the 5 categories? So I'm looking to use my mind to verify these things and not just trust a computer, even though I did put this model from ChatGPT back into Gemini and asked it's like, okay, from your knowledge, are these 5 categories comprehensive to cover every knowledge that you know? And once again, it says yes. Right? This is a math model that says these 5 things. And one of the things that AI is really good at is finding patterns. This is why I trust it with these 5, and then I use my own mind to think about it's like, okay, what else could be outside of this? The only thing that's outside of this is nonfiction. It's like, I asked it like, where does nonfiction come in? And actually, these 5 things are knowledge about this world, this human reality. If you're creating multiple worlds, you still have these versions, but it's a different universe with a different set of shadows, cells, different world, um, different kind of relationships. Anyways, so the only thing that doesn't fully fit in here is nonfiction. So I'm gonna state that outright, right? Where could that fit though? It could be under world. Yeah, it really doesn't fit. But this is the knowledge about this human world, so I'm gonna take it. There is always gonna be something missing. But so far, this is comprehensive because I want to just start pulling knowledge. One of the questions I asked Chat was, "What is everything you know about human emotions?" And just it starts just listing everything off. Just like, okay. And then I thought about like asking it, what do you know everything? Tell me everything you know about the MBA program, Masters in Business, right? And it starts listing everything else off. It's like, okay, so I can ask you about every single thing. But first, before I do that, I need to have a way to hold it. I need to know where to put this information, and that's where this system is coming into play, right? Before, I've been building these maps on my own because I didn't want to be biased by other um, tracks. I don't want to be stuck in someone else's mental ruts that they've gone over again and again. So I wanted to create my own. So I've created a lot of different maps, like the cube, like the health wealth relationship grid. But let me come back to this. So this is the map of all knowledge, at least that. So these are like the continents. If this is all human knowledge, what would be the major continents? And then within each of them, I can zoom in closer. So these are the 5 continents of all human knowledge. And I also, okay, my brain is shorting out a little bit, trying to figure out how to explain it. All right. But this wasn't quite enough. So this is simply what exists. I was telling it about this engine, the -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. This process that seems to be underneath absolutely everything. And it laid it out in the terms of 2 more maps, not just, come on. There we go. So this is the map of all knowledge. Then it gave me the engine. So this is just knowing what exists in the world. This is how to navigate what exists, right? Again, it's by -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the engine I was talking about earlier. -1 is like all the negative states. Okay, so this is the 3 steps to success, remember? 1, know what to do and do it. That's all you really need. But if I'm not doing that, I need to do 2, decrease emotional blocks, something is stopping me, or 3, increase emotional fuel. So I've had these 3 steps to success for a while now. It has just been that 3 steps. And then these numbers came along and I extrapolated it over to here. I've been using -1 and 1 for a while, right? -1 being like negative emotional states. So if you look at this, decreasing emotional blocks is clearly -1. Decrease emotional blocks, right? Increase emotional fuel is 1. Increase emotional fuel. The drive, the reason for existing, the fun. Okay? So then knowing what to do is 2, right? Remember, there's 2 points, A and a B. So this is know, K-N-O, know what to do. And 3 is the act of doing it. And do it. That leaves 1 spot right here. And the thing that is the center of my entire program that I train myself with is what if I can do everything effortlessly without applying emotional effort? So this is the effortless ground. Even speaking, even talking, even writing, I don't need to apply emotional effort. I can wash my dishes effortlessly. I can write effortlessly. I can just turn off my brain and just go through the actions. The, the breakthrough is that effort is not required. So these 3 steps fit perfectly into the -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that is now the engine. The 3 steps of success is now translated into the engine. So we have a map. We know how to move in life. This is the life engine. And then there's the player. So here's how I got the player. This is how I use AI. I first got the map. I got these numbers. And I plugged in this sequence. And I told it to match it up. And it says, yep, it matches up perfectly. And it gave me this. And then it grouped it up into this map. And then it grouped this sequence and called it the engine. So then I told it, okay, I have the engine, I have the map. Am I missing anything else? Are these 2 comprehensive? And from its pattern recognition, which is what it is best at, it told me no. It told me I am missing 1 piece, and the piece I'm missing is knowledge about the player, right? I have knowledge about the world. I know how to navigate in the world, but who's the one navigating it? Who's the subjective persona? So then this is the player. In a first person sense, right? But the player's personality, again, following, I asked it, can we use the same number sequence to figure out what's in the player? And this is what it came up with, right? -1 is the fragmented self. Fragmented self. The shadow self. Self. S-E-L. Okay. 0 is the witness. The effortless existence. Effortless ground again. 1 is all the positive emotions we want to feel, the happy side of us. And then, so here, okay. Here's where in the player, I used the framework of the inner parent, child, okay, inner parent, child, adult paradigm. The adult is last because it decides, it has the last word on what we say or what we do. Do I put on my seatbelts? Do I brush my teeth? Yes. The inner parent supports the emotions of the child universally. No matter what it is, it just gives it universal love and guidance for how to handle the wild emotional waves. So then I plug that in. So the emotional adult is number 3. Because it, hmm, I could see that it could, no. Okay, this works, okay. So -1, 0, and 1 is the state of existence, right? I feel good, I feel bad, I feel good, I feel bad, and somewhere in between we're witnessing it all. This is the being, the child. It's like, it doesn't have to do anything. The adult has to do stuff, right? I need to go from point A to point B. I want to brush my teeth. I need to put on seatbelt to stay safe. This is the adult doing the actions, doing it, you know? And then know what to do. Well, the thing that's left is the parent, the inner parent, our inner parent. These are all our inner forces. So because number 3 had to be the inner adult, right? Logic says that there's no way around it. You have to have an inner adult. It just has to be that way. Okay. We definitely have to have an inner parent. Sometimes it's not so great, but we can work on it, right? Inner parent had to fit somewhere. It might be here, but that would short circuit this because the existence of life is either up or down or neutral. So this becomes the child, the existence of who we are. And then this number 2 now then becomes the universal parent. So this is the key, the EMU key. Key of knowledge, key of, I don't know, still working on it. The scope of it is so big that it's hard to name these things, the framework. Okay? The map holds all the knowledge in 5 categories. And according to both ChatGPT and Gemini, that these 5 categories do indeed encapsulate every knowledge that it has. We have the engine of how to navigate, right? Know what to do and just do it. Boom, you get success. If I can't do that, I find out what's blocking me, decrease emotional blocks, and or increase emotional fuel. Then, who is the person playing the game? This is the player. And these are the parts in us, right? We have the inner child that both has the negative side that has been fragmented. The witness is always here. And we have the positive child who likes to play and enjoy life full out. And then the two forces, the inner adult and the inner parent. Well, if I put the inner adult here, that just does the things I have to do, chop wood, carry water, then the parent goes here. Inner parent, inner adult, inner child. So that's the player, that's the engine of success, and that's the map of all knowledge. So this is the EMU key. Okay. Um, I wish I was more enthusiastic about it, but at this point, I'm just pretty used to having these kind of developments. It is a huge development, right? I can start slotting in all the knowledge that I'm getting from the world. I still have to practice with this. I'm not sure how well this works yet. This is the newest part. But the engine, yeah, this is pretty clear. I've had these three steps. These three steps are very intuitive. They're very straightforward. There's no fluff whatsoever. And the player is relatively new, except for the parent-child adult paradigm is not new, and it's also logically complete. Then mapped across the 5 numbers, it is also pretty complete considering within the child, this is the symbol I have for it. This is all negative states, this is all positive states, and I'm in the middle. So it matches perfectly with the inner parent child adult paradigm and the 3 steps to success. And now this is the new development of the map, the 5 categories for all human knowledge. That's the biggest development, and I will still need to test it out, try it, but I just want to share that. And it all can be derived with just remembering 3 words. And this sequence is 1 unit, right? This is 1 chunk. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. It's 1 chunk of information. This is 4 chunks of information that can expand into this framework that covers everything. All right, so this is the EMU key of knowledge. Thanks for listening.